Hello everyone, I'm Juliet again, but as I promised last time that we are going to come back with the second episode of our show which started last weekend. This is the journalist chat. This time I had promised that we are going to be talking about being comfortable on the camera. We are going to be sharing some tips of how a journalist can get to be confident when it comes to speaking in front of the cameras. I know this has been a major issue and is still a big problem to many of us. Because myself, my first time speaking on the camera, it wasn't easy. Whenever you speak, you feel like, what will people say? Have I spoken well? Is this English correct? But oh yeah, you don't have to mind about that. And it's not the reason why I had to put you on these shades. No, it is because I did this show when it was too hot. I had to protect my eyes. But these are some of the tips. First, you have to have passion. And this passion has to be on that topic. For the starter, you have to have passion for the topic which you are going to talk about. It can be, you can talk about your children because you love your children so much. You'll be more comfortable talking about them in front of the cameras. It can be your boyfriend. It can be your workplace. You can talk about your friends. And then the other thing, you don't have to be over serious in front of the cameras. You have to have that funny bit of it so that you don't get stressed or you don't run out of words to speak. And then the other tip is that you have to be knowledgeable. Usually when you are called in for any show, it can be a program, it can be any interview. Once you get to know what you are going to talk about, you can do more research so that you don't blunder from in front of the cameras. Basically, those are some of the tips that I've managed to share with you, but I'm going to be bringing in several from my other senior journalists. They might not be senior as such, but they will also be sharing with you some of the best tips. We are giving you this not because we know much, but we just decided to share so that we can improve on our working skills. Douglas, I know you've been in media for some good time. Though you're a producer, you rarely appear on TV, but at least you have that deep experience. Basically, I just want you to share some tips of how journalists can get more confident when it comes to being in front of the cameras. Just share with some.
To me, I think you just need to be confident. That's one thing. Two, you need to be versatile. Versatility, I mean, you just have to find out to juggle that. Just the way you find a person to give you the vox pops or the people to give you vox pops, I feel like to you should also be convinced that you can do it. Why not? Because you're the person operating the camera. If at one point you can stand back in front of the camera and give something out there, then no, I don't think. But I feel for journalists they need to be versatile. Be in front of the camera. I think that's why even they teach so many journalists to do PTCs, so that to become confident. So
thank you. You mentioned about that issue of PTCs, but do you know that before we get that final PTC, someone has done like 50 PTCs?
Yeah, it's okay because they say practice makes perfect. So I feel like this camera phobia, you just need to let it go and try. At one point, I think you will pull it off. So.
And then there's a certain experience that you initially shared with me that most journalists just shy away from cameras, especially even if it is an issue to do with media. When you go to them, you want to get vox pops, you want them to speak out, they automatically shy away. What is your advice here?
To me, I feel it goes back to a personality. There are people who are always dying in front of the camera, but still they don't do good. And there are those ones who cannot even try, even when they are handling cameras. Me, I feel you just need to get out of that comfort zone. Try. Practice makes perfect.
Thank you, dear, for your comment.
I'm Razia Athman, a producer and presenter journalist at Urban TV. I work on PM Live. So here's my tip for having that confidence while presenting on TV. I guess camera fright happens for everyone. Even the very, very experienced TV journalists do have some level of fright the moment they get in front of a camera. But the trick is, for me, and it has worked, is first to know your story. If you know your story and you're thinking about your audience, there's no way you're going to be shy. There's no way you're going to fear the camera. It is the passion that drives you, the passion to get that story heard.
Thank you. On our show today, we are glad to host one of the TV, can I call him a TV personality? But this person has done it all. He's currently a video editor, but he has ever been a TV presenter, has ever been in that field. So he's going to be sharing us with some tips of how a journalist can become confident in front of the cameras. Dennis Duke, you are welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jalia, for giving me this opportunity to share with you, and of course the people that are actually going to watch this video clip on how a journalist can actually build up confidence. You see, when it comes to us, when we go in the field, we kind of want people to give us, their recordings, to take bites and stuff. And when it comes to us, we really can't do that. Now, it still comes back to you as a person. Number one that you need to do is to thoroughly do a lot of practice. Okay, when you practice something over and over again, you realize you become perfect in it. Some of us didn't just wake up and we didn't just wake up and started like standing in front of cameras. No, we didn't do that. But over time, we realized we could actually stand in front of our cameras. Two is when you're home in your bedroom, perhaps nobody's watching, get in front of your mirror and practice talking to your mirror, like as if you're talking to people. Then after talking to your mirror and you realize you've gained enough confidence, go out and stand with your people home. Okay, say for example your parents or your sisters, you call them and then you start talking to them like as if you're having a live interview or something of a sort. By so doing, they'll tell you that now you're nervous or what, and then you kind of get back to your room, and then you get to get better as time goes on.
Dennis, when you talked about standing in front of the camera, do you know what came into my mind?
No.
Usually people only get in front of their mirrors to take nude pictures.
Yeah, of course some of those people that have released their nudes before do that, but as a journalist I prefer that you do it over and over again. If you have a camera, put it in front of you, record yourself, and after watch it so that you can actually get time to know that now at this point I didn't do well, at this point I did well.
Thanks for that piece of advice.
You're welcome.
Nice having you on our show.
Okay, I'm glad to share some knowledge with a couple of journalists out there. And lastly, the field we are in is a field where you need to do a lot of things. You could be a camera person today, you could be a reporter today. Tomorrow they would want you to be a presenter. So all these skills help you to attain something better in the future. Thank you.
Welcome. I said last time that I'll be bringing in more journalists to be sharing with you some of the tips of being comfortable when speaking in front of the cameras. Today I've landed on our one natural Rachel. She's still a young journalist, but then she's willing to try it out everywhere. Rachel, which are some of the best tips?
If you really want to be confident in front of a camera, I think you should make enough preparations. Like if you know the questions before the shoot, so you can practice, you can look into your mirror, and then you feel like you do the preparation prior to the shooting, and I think that can help. And maybe sometimes you need to also listen to advice from people. Maybe you can go and ask Jalia when I have this thing, how do I go about it, and maybe Jalia can give you a piece of advice, and yeah, that can help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too, dear.
Welcome. Again on this show. Last time you were one of the first people who premiered in our first episode, but today we are just inquiring about some tips which you can share with fellow journalists out there when it comes to being confident in front of the cameras. I know you're a video editor, but at least you are someone who has experienced it all. You're welcome.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be hosted again, to have a tip to share with a couple of people out there. Really, it's very important that a person in this trade or industry has the attributes of being all around. You must be able to do a couple of things. So much as I'm a video editor, I've done some presenting sometime, I've also done some camera work and a couple of things as this trade demands. Well, my experience has taught me a couple of things, especially in terms of confidence towards the camera. It's a very key thing for very many presenters and many people who are personalities for TV. And the way you can propagate yourself to become confident on the screen is that you need to be yourself. That's the first thing. You need to be yourself. You need to be very natural as possible, and be able to bring out your real self as a person. So many of the things that we do come with time in this industry. You must be able to practice. As the saying goes, that practice makes perfect. As the more you do the practice during your presentation, the more you perfect the art and the skill of presenting. So many of the presenters, they just become better and better every day, and this is the attribute of a consistent and determined journalist.
Thank you, Paul, for the tips that you've given to your fellow journalists out there. I think that if a journalist can be shy on camera, that one is not a complete journalist. Is it so?
Being shy on camera, like I've just said, it actually depends on the personality. You must be interested to deliver. You must be interested to communicate, because presentation is about communication. So if a journalist is shy to be on camera, then they are not really determined to deliver the information, because you must deliver what you know. So I think it's part of the journalist to develop the confidence or the attitude or the attribute of being confident on camera, because that is one of the modes that we use to deliver content and information.
Paul, thanks for the informative tips that you've given out, and I hope journalists who have watched this show have managed to learn. Sure. Not only to learn, but also be able to put into practice the advice that they've been given.
Well, it's my pleasure. See ya.